Just in. Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah, you can't make that joke anymore. No, you cannot. What's up, everybody?
What happened? I was coughing. I missed it all.
We're doing the show.
Oh, are we? What? So what? Was there something?
So shut the fuck up.
Okay, we made it 18
everybody?
seconds.
Welcome to the Laser Stores podcast, the number one podcast if you like Disney on Ice. We've got a great show for you today, which has been made entirely possible by our sponsor, Johnson Plastics Plus. We finally got the ornaments. I got the ornaments. They sent a lot. They sent a lot of them. So we got a handful. You guys saw the short, probably ran and threw up today, but we got a handful of slate ones. We got a handful of the fake wood ones. Those are HDF, which is like,
really?
Yeah, interesting. So they're completely fake. But I'm really interested to see how they mark up. They should mark up good. Rhiannon was complaining about the rings on the real ones and how like the texture differences because of the
and then those things dry out and they split, those little wooden cookies. So like I was curious as to how that would hold up, but knowing that it's actually like artificial, it seems like that's probably a better option, to be honest.
HDF, my man.
Like
I'm kind of skeptical.
Storage.
I don't know how I feel about
man-made materials add consistency.
Any density fiberboard is kind of weird, but we'll take a look at them. And then of course
nice stuff with all of it.
We got a full case of each shape in glass, which is what I really am excited about.
Basically JP Plus on ice.
Yeah,
those hexagon ones
exactly. Dude, they're baller. They've got they're hexagons and they look like
they're nice, dude.
Like snowflakes almost. You know, they got like snowflake vibes.
Mm-hmm.
They're super nice.
I engraved a bunch of those last year. They really come out beautifully.
Get them while they are still in stock with the link down in the description. It helps support the show. You can save up to 15% off almost everything in the store, ornaments included, with the code YLRZDF, and it'll help support the show because it's an affiliate link. So you guys buy stuff at no cost to you. We get a little cut of it. Everybody's happy. You have some sick ornaments. JP Plus gets some business, and it keeps the show running. So we all walk away with smiles.
Hooray.
Not just at no cost to you, you're actually saving money.
You are, because it's 15% off. And that's a real discount, not like 15% off of a marked up price. So
yeah,
go check it out. I'm not going to bore you guys with another week of ornament lecture, but we have them. And if you haven't seen the short, go check it out because they do look very nice.
Yeah, and they're easy money, guys. They're just such easy money. The only thing is, if you have time to do those individual orders, charge what it's worth because they're asking you for a specialty item. It's really easy to be like, well, they only cost me like $2.50. I guess $10. No, man, $15. It's okay.
Unless your customer celebrates Kwanzaa or Hanukkah, they're gonna want one of these. So
Christmas Hanukkah ones,
15, and they can tie the ribbon on themselves.
Indeed, yeah.
So, anyways, and the reason I say that is because I've gotten roped into that, like, where like someone's like, "Could you just make me one? Could you just do two?" And the little design time, it costs money. So make sure you're charging for your time appropriately. Or if you're going to do like a mass one, like I've done in the past too, it's great to just be like a flat price, $10 a piece, $8 a piece, depending on how many they order. And it's just like, I mean, if anyone who wasn't here a long time ago when I bought my UV, that's how I paid for half of the UV. I just got an order paid in advance, got the ornaments, made them all, boom, done.
Nice. And we did get our Johnson Plastics Plus video out early for November. So December, right off the bat, we should have it filmed and edited and ready to go. We'll be rocking with those Christmas ornaments right out of the gate. So that'll be December's Johnson Plastics Plus episode, which should be a really good time. And you guys can see those in action. I'm a little nervous that won't be out before they run out of stock, but maybe they'll still have some. Maybe they've ordered more this year. Who knows? So if you don't want to roll the dice on that, link in the description. Thank you, JP Plus, for sponsoring the show. And with that, we're rolling right into the usual nonsense. We've got Kyle with me as well as Matt, and Anthony's here this week. What up, guy? Nice to see you. You looking fresh. You looking like you're collecting money for a loan shark. So that's good.
It's the tracksuit.
Yeah, dude, for real. There's only one kind of person that wears that
washes
material.
right off of it.
Break your thumbs.
And Matt, why don't you kick us off with chat, man?
Yeah, man. So we put up the show a little bit late tonight. Alex had some stuff going on, so we're glad that you guys made it here. As usual, look like they showed up. We got Jack in the Shop was first, and he beat Laura. She literally just went, number 2. That's how I feel when I do number 2 also, just, Let's see. Anyways, Jack, you got there. We got Laura. We got Captain's here. What's going on, Captain? Bunny Washer.
Ahoy.
Said, is this some kind of laser hair removal channel?
Indeed, it's the #1 podcast if you love laser hair removal.
My hair's been going away.
Anything possible. Anything.
Yep. Resin said, hey guys, sorry I'm not feeling well tonight. Gonna head to bed early. Hope you have a fun show. Love my LE boys. Sorry you're feeling bad, Cheryl. Hope you feel better soon.
Feel better, bud.
You got Team Destruction said, greetings from New Mexico.
I love that name.
We got some new ones. Mike C, ET Laserworks, the other Mike. We got a lot of mics. Cuban Cracked is here. What's up, Cuban? And then we got Birch and Ember Studio says, hello from Alabama. Nice.
I like birch trees are my favorite kind of trees.
There you go. I like embers because it means you burn something. And then you got Chris saying, hey, Chris Lazicki. And I think that's everybody. And Bunny Washer just said, who does number 2 work for?
Alex, your paper chain just made my heart smile. I remember making them 55 years ago. Yeah, I did that with my daughter. Like randomly. She was like throwing a complete fit. Miranda was trying to cook dinner, and they were drawing with crayons on construction paper. And I was like, do you want to see some fucking super cool shit? And Nugget was like, hell yeah. And I showed her how to make paper chains. She was all about it.
Nice. Oh, Yuri just showed up. What's up, Yuri?
That was always a good time.
Cheesy boy. What I don't want to forget it. We almost forgot it last week. What is the current coin challenge status, Anthony? Can you catch us up to speed on that?
Voting closed, I think, the day or a couple days before the last episode launched. So that month's over with. But for the month of November, what was it?
It's the Into the Void,
yeah. So I have gotten my first side done and posted just as kind of like a little preview to try and amp people up a little bit. And so hopefully we get some more submissions in. And
I see that. What is that? A Hitler quote? A little Mein Kampf on there? Or?
No, it's Nietzsche.
That's the world.
Alex was not a history major in collage.
Dude, Guten Tag. It looks pretty cool. Are you going for iris there? Is that like an eyeball?
That's an eyeball. Yeah.
That's
actually
on the other side. What's the plan?
No.
Okay.
I'm not giving it away. I'm doing something cool
He's like, it's an eye.
So no, I'm not doing the Michael thing. Yeah.
No brown eye on there.
The chocolate starfish.
Well,
is that a balloon?
I won't give it away, but I will say my design is complete. I just have to burn it.
Nice. Good. I'll be happy to see
my wife in chat.
To be fair, I never heard of Nietzsche in high school either. I didn't hear about him until much later in life. So.
Well, we talk about Nietzsche all the time on here. Like, you have to find your niche when you're working.
Right.
To, like, who are your customers, right? Like,
I've always wondered who that was.
Yeah, it's that little tiny spot that fits your laser work. Your niche.
Friend of Hitler, apparently.
Shut up.
I've been tempted. I've been tempted this month to actually participate because I really want to make a portal coin, like a valve. Like portal
you
coin.
Won't.
I feel like
you won't.
I feel like it'd be cool.
We should set aside an afternoon and knock it out.
The whole thing is like there's a blue portal and an orange portal, and I don't know how I would deal with that without like a Sharpie. Like how would you approach that if you wanted to show
you can get color on brass.
Can you get blue and orange? I guess it's already kind of orange. So we don't have to do a lot out there.
It's gonna have like a yellow tint to it a little bit.
Yeah,
it's doable. You can get
Chaotic Machinery's gotten some badass oranges. So
yeah.
What about blue?
Yeah, the blue's a thing.
It depends. Are you colorblind?
This is getting really. Yes, I am, and you know that. I feel like this is getting really complicated already.
Blues on copper?
Yeah, no brass.
Oh, brass. Okay, I must be like, whoa! I thought you said copper for a second. I was like,
Yeah,
I have like a single copper coin, but I feel like it's more valuable unengraved than anything I would do to it.
Yeah. I did a copper coin with like my logo and a QR on the back that I just handed out a couple weeks ago to a guy at an auto parts store. And then I also have like this 50 millimeter by like 15 millimeter copper paperweight that I'm waiting for. Or no, wait, that one's brass. I have a copper like thick boy coin, like 5 mil, I think is maybe the thickness on that one. But yeah, I'm waiting for like a really special project for those.
Has anybody else sent anything in so far for this?
Not yet. No. I dropped that one trying to hopefully build up some hype and get people.
It's a little early in the process. People are still holding it, tight to the chest.
Because usually the first weekend
was it nips?
Yeah, it was 10-inch.
Yeah, imagine. That's cool. Yeah, I may actually do this one. I just really want to see the portal coin. I don't think anybody else is going to do that because nobody else is as big of a nerdy douche as I am. So
my first thought was like a Stargate coin, but
that's way douchier than me. That's a really good idea.
I'll just stick with my Hitler coin.
I just crushed his soul. Stargate's cool if you're talking about the show. The movie's garbage, though. That's how I feel about that.
All I know is that was my first thought was like the Choppa Eye when it closes, like the little security gate they have on Stargate or whatever. And that was my first thought. And then I was like, how the hell am I going to do that, though? Because that would be, you'd have to like layer it and it has to go up and at an angle and has to.
No, it'd be cool because the Stargate has like the little symbols around the outside.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
it'd be cool on the outside.
Coin centric. It's like ready to go.
Thinking of like where the gate would be, like when it closes. But, anyways, it's just one of those things.
Like the 3D.
Yeah, honestly, what Anthony did almost looked like that. At first, I literally thought like, oh, that's the Stargate opening. And then I was like, wait a minute. Nope, that's an eyeball. Okay.
It does kind of have those vibes for sure.
Like, because it's got like the almost like pluming outward looking thing, because it kind of like goes out.
This coin, the first half of the coin that you've done so far does remind me how gross eyes are when you look at them like super close up.
So I was talking with my dad on the phone while scrolling through. And I was like, you know what, Dad? Like, I didn't realize it until just now, but eyes look freaking gross.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? I was like, I've been looking at these zoomed in pictures of eyeballs trying to find like a good model, and they're
makes you feel uncomfortable a little bit, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like you say the same word over and over again, and then you wonder, like, is this even a word? What noise am I making right now?
I get like tryptophobia from the like iris. I feel like it's like too organic, you know what I mean? And when you get like a really zoomed in high res picture of an eye, you can see all of the like fibers and shit, like all like when an alien thing is like taking over the inside of a spaceship.
There's there's a good picture, and it makes it clear that you're looking into a hole that goes into somebody's brain at the end of an optical cord. Because it's like one of the most detailed. It's like an 8K photo of an eyeball from like a side angle with like really good lighting, and it looks really cool for like 2 seconds. Then you start to see all that fibrous weird shit you're talking about, and then it just drops into a hole, and you're like, I don't like this anymore. This is not beautiful.
Brave of you to choose that, but I'm looking forward to seeing the other side. If you're not doing a butthole, I can't imagine what it's going to be. So I'm looking forward to finding out what it's going to be. Half the time when I'm talking to Anthony right now, I just see his frozen camera, and I think he's just really unamused with what I'm saying because it keeps freezing.
I want to say, and then Anthony's
freezing, and he's like.
No, I think my cord's going back because it was like dropping in and out, but I can wirelessly connect, so hopefully it'll stop.
Just wiggle it a little. That's what Jimmy would say.
Wiggle, wiggle, womp. Wiggle, wiggle,
womp. That's all I got for today. Thanks for coming to the show, everybody. Good night.
Bye, guys. It was a good time with you.
Next time. If you have questions, drop them in chat because I literally came just with nothing today. I was thinking, so we're at the end of season 4 right now. Kyle had something to share, so we'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, we're at the end of season 4. We have 9 episodes left of season 4 of the Laser Source podcast. I think with season 5, I'm going to try to actually build like a show notes kind of framework to add a little more structure to the show. I'm not going to change it. We're still going to hit all the main things that we hit every single week, but just to give it a little more meat and maybe put it in an area where it's easier for the 4 of us to collaborate on things that we want to talk about during the week, because stuff always comes up, and it would be nice if we weren't yanking that out of our butts at the last minute. Of course, we'll still do like questions, and we can still talk about big news when it comes up, and we can still sit here and make all the nasty jokes about eyes and buttholes that you guys come for week after week after week. But that's just something I was thinking about. What do you guys feel about that? Does that sound good?
I like that.
I'm good with that.
I oppose it 100%.
Oh, good. Well, thankfully nobody cares about your opinion. So
fair enough. Okay.
The 3 people that matter say yes.
Yeah. Somebody had to be the opposing side just because, like if everybody's just like, that sounds great, boss.
We're all sycophants.
So maybe something we could talk about if we have a few minutes is
we have all the minutes.
Aware of this Falcon T1 by Creality today.
Oh God, here we go.
It's like a F2
diode,
I'm guessing. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Start sharing some screens. Falcon T1. What?
Yeah, Creality Falcon T1.
Let's take a look. Your first laser cutter to create.
Says it's a 5-in-1. I'm not sure what that means. This article I pulled up is not very helpful.
A1. I see a Falcon 2 Pro.
It's something they just announced.
It's only written in articles. It's not even on their site.
Oh. Well, that would make sense as to why I can't find it. What's the deal? Why is it noteworthy?
It says the world's first 5-in-1 laser engraver.
Oh my God, please.
5-in-1?
5-in-1.
Significant.
It dices, it slices, it also makes coins.
So I'm not sure what.
So 20-watt blue light laser engraver. 5-in-1. What does that mean? They keep saying.
I don't know.
So I'm reading through an article from topengravers.co.uk.
I'm reading it too.
20-watt blue light diode.
Yeah.
It also has a dual interchangeable infrared laser module.
Yep.
Does not say the wattage.
I don't see anything about this. That's 5.
Is this going to be like the is that the Omtech that has like the multiple modules that you can swap out, and each module is like $3,000?
This whole thing only mentions 2 modules, so I don't know what makes it 5-in-1.
I think maybe some of this is going to be marketing talk. Like maybe they're referring to the rotary being one in those 5, and I don't know.
Do you see something in this article about rotary?
No, but that's the only thing I can think of.
Bullshit. The bullshit article about a bullshit machine.
All right, well, maybe it's not as exciting as it sounds, but somebody shared this with me and said that they know a guy who knows a guy, and it sounds like it's going to be an exciting product. So I thought there would be more information on it, but never mind. Maybe we can just cut this part out.
It looks like they're going to be announcing stuff at Form Next in the next couple days.
He's really smashing on his keyboard in chat, telling us about all the modules that it'll have, including a 20-watt fiber, 20-watt diode, 40-watt diode, 5-watt UV, and 60-watt MOPA.
So this is very much like I think it's Omtech that's making this machine, where it's like, you basically are swapping out sources. They're just like sources that are small. You swap these sources out, and it has different functionalities like that. So maybe
at the very least, the 60-watt MOPA, probably the 20-watt fiber would have to be
hardware,
fiber optic fed, right? Like that's not just going to be like a slap in diode pulsed module.
That's
not like maybe that's like fixed, and then how like they could have above that mirrored in, like you swap these modules out. I don't know, just
because it would suck to pull like an emitter out and put it
in. The 5-watt UV would also be a pretty sizable item too.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. My 5-watt UV laser is massive. What are they going to put that on the end of a gantry?
Ooh, they're working directly with Lightburn for compatibility, said Yuri.
Let me see it.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, Mike C said a few different companies are doing this. I wonder if they're getting it from the same factory. Yeah, I mean, there might be like a communal development of some sort going on.
Yeah. These guys are always up to tricky things. We'll see. What happens.
When it's, I mean, I can't say for certain, but like speculation hat on. Usually when it's multiple companies are coming out with a very, very, very similar product that has the same size, the same shield, the same footprint, the same handle, the same buttons.
It's all white label stuff.
It's usually white labeled from a bigger manufacturer like Gweek, for example, where Gweek was like super known for making gantry labels or gantry lasers white labeled for other brands. And there's a bunch of companies that do that. They're not the only one. And obviously, like, they could get stuff customized for their individual unit potentially at a higher cost, but stuff like that where it's like the same of everything and the parts are interchangeable between the units, that's usually the case.
Yuri just sent me this giant ass thing in chat. Let me see if I can get it up on screen. I can't see what tab I'm sharing here. Hopefully it's not. Okay, good. So
it's not the third monitor.
So yeah, I keep all that on my fifth monitor. T1 smart workstation. Let's see, diode, fiber, UV.
This might be
the hardware.
It might be really cool, but we don't know until it comes out, right? So
accuracy, class 1. I mean, the specs look okay on the modules.
My only concern with things like that was like each individual module, at least for like the one that I saw, was like pretty hefty in price and would almost be like comparable to just picking up a whole new laser.
I think like a lot of the argument there would be like learn one machine and like how to interface with it once and then be done, but I don't, whatever.
Yeah. The other factor on that I would be concerned about is how long is it going to take you to swap over modules? Is it another situation where like if it's going to take you 45 minutes to break everything down from a 60 watt fiber and switch over to a 5 watt UV?
I would imagine
how often are you going to do that?
Like, because like I think the X tools, like they show their diagram, which I'm sure is like dumbed down for cavemen like me, but they show there's basically two paths. There's your fiber path, and then there's like your diode path, and it hits a 90-degree mirror that goes down through the path that the fiber follows down toward the mirrors. So I'd imagine like the fiber path would be fixed and just stay underneath, and then the module would be on top, and you swap that out, and that's what's mirrored in from above. It would be my guess. That's like,
I wonder how you like load a module in. That's what I want to know. Like, is it this whole top part that you're just like pulling out and dropping something new in, and you're
seem like keeping the frame? Something like that, like a box that you would drop in, probably from above, or from the back. I don't know.
There's really not a lot here. It just goes right into talking about the A1 and like a ton of their other lasers, so it's pretty sparse right now. But yeah, be cool.
Sorry for derailing the conversation with this madness. Okay. But I just thought it was maybe worth looking.
No, it is the conversation.
It is. Yeah, it's all we have to talk about tonight. So there it is, everybody. Soak it up.
It's pretty.
Cuban said, "Wait, it's a 3-in-1." They're advertising it as a 5-in-1, and it's based off of the quantity of modules that you can use.
Yeah.
I
was gonna say, Kyle, you had when I asked you if you had news earlier, you had mentioned something about a Glowforge bankruptcy. What's going on there?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess Glowforge announced, I guess they were working on an IPO deal before Joanne Fabric went bankrupt. Where they were going to go publicly traded, and Joanne Fabric, I guess, was going to be like their retail store. And when that fell through, I guess a lot of their money path, I guess, dried up. But I guess they had a lot of like debts from like being invested in and their venture cap backing and all that. I'm not really an expert on the backing of Glowforge because, you know, full disclosure, they weren't really my favorite business model in the world. But they fit for some people, and, you know, good for them. My concern was that if Glowforge disappears, like yesterday, like what does that mean for the people who bought it? Because from my understanding, those machines are still entirely controlled through the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think there's an offline functionality version of how those machines work. So I was reading into it, and, you know, I'm going to include some links in the description for anybody who wants to read into it, and I'll do that in a minute. But the idea is that there was a community post on the Glowforge forums that was shared with me, and it was linking a GeekWire article. And essentially what happened is, when you're a big company like that, you have kind of two options when you're out of funding and you're going to go bankrupt. Is you can declare bankruptcy and whatever happens. Everything shuts down. And in the case of Glowforge being a cloud-based functioning machine, I imagine the server functions on that would go bye-bye. Option number 2, which they went with, was, I guess, what they call an ABC. And essentially, I guess the company got auctioned off via a third party. And the CEO and CTO ended up buying it, which were the original people in the company. Dan and Mark, I guess. And I guess on paper, it's still a bankruptcy, but the company continues to function. And they ended up getting controlling interest in all the patents and all the important stuff, I guess, for the company. But essentially what this means is it wipes them clear of all the hardcore credit that they have against the company. So essentially their slate was wiped clean. So I'm just curious what you guys think this might mean for people, in the sense that a lot of the Glowforge functionality ended up getting tucked behind a paywall with Glowforge Premium, I think it was called, or Glowforge Pro, or they have a subscription service. So basically, like, they gate your access to the extensive, like,
material
library and like different tools. I wonder if, because they no longer have serious debt to answer for, and they're not currently looking at an IPO situation, as far as I know, but who knows? Does that mean that maybe they could feed back some of that value to the consumer, where they can free up some of those things that are gated behind a paywall? Who knows? I mean,
yeah, normally once a company starts charging for something, they don't typically back off of that, but I mean,
right.
they could.
Yeah.
I just personally think Xtool ate Glowforge for lunch, and they probably found themselves in a position where people didn't want to overpay for their machines and decided to overpay for Xtools because the ecosystem.
I mean, like you can plug a fucking Xtool into Lightburn.
Yeah.
You know, like it just removes all of that. Like, I'm just like, so first of all, while Kyle's been talking, I've been like looking at Glowforge's website. You can still buy a Glowforge like right now, which is interesting. Also, you can still get Glowforge Premium. You were right, Kyle. It's premium. And included with that, one of the things that they include is like prioritized processes for fastest prints, because all of the processing is happening off your computer, right? It's
so
like happening.
It's like a web tool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just like, some of these servers are still running. Like, who's running these servers? That's really weird to me.
Well, it's still Glowforge's server.
Got their closets full of shelf racks.
Yeah, but like a person needs to run that. That doesn't just exist.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like somebody has to keep this service online. And they're also one of the benefits, I love this, of the premium is 20% off of all of their materials from their material store that they're so happy to sell you. It's horribly anti-consumer, and I'm not surprised that they went bankrupt. What I am interested to see is whether or not, now that company control has changed, perhaps, is whether or not their business practices will be more consumer friendly going forward.
I mean, there was the CEO and CFO that bought it, though, right? So probably,
so I don't know, but I don't
know if they're going to be wildly changing their
I'm
policies.
Me either, but like, you're really just going to buy it and then just do all the same shit that bankrupt you before you bought it?
Mortgage a sinking ship.
Well, and that's what
I think what ended up bankrupting them before is that they had to pay back loans against the VC, right?
Well, that's not a problem if you're profitable.
Yeah, but I think that they wanted to make a subscription-based service, and then when it doesn't work out, what do? Because you're not really making money on the hardware. It's kind of like with Microsoft and Sony and all those companies where like they don't make a ton off their hardware. What they make money off is you buying the GameStop or the Game Game Pass, where it's like $30. You know, they've licensed stuff, and basically they're making money off that. And what Bunny Washer said in chat was which is pretty funny, I think, but it's pretty accurate too. Said, "Yep, it's a cloud laser. It's dead. There's an unofficial firmware, but not many soccer moms can do that because you're basically gonna have like an open glow Frankenforge." Which is pretty spot on, because then what's going to happen is your functionality.
I didn't even know there was an open firmware for it.
Well, and that's the thing. Supposedly, there's an unofficial.
Admittedly, though, let's just be clear. That's not like a supported thing either. That's something you're going to be doing on your own. You're essentially hacking the firmware.
Well, it's something that we could provide resources on. We should definitely be knowledgeable about that for sure, because that could be the first step for people getting into like actual equipment. My response to anybody who says that I have to fucking write you a check every month in order to use hardware I already bought is fuck you. It's my machine. I already own it. It's none of your business what I'm installing on it or to use with it or do with it, and why is my processing happening in the cloud? Like, I understood that it had a software lock on it to require an internet connection to use, but I didn't understand that the processing for your images and your data and all of your text was being done on external servers. That's wild. That's kind of crazy too. Like, that processing isn't even happening on your local machine.
Button and it's like in 8 minutes you're in the queue.
Yeah,
that's like nuts. That's nuts.
Do they play hold music for you too while you're waiting?
For real? Like, what is and they're not even cheap. Like, if they were cheaper, if they were like somehow subsidized against the cost of a normal machine that can operate independently the way you or I would expect them to, that would be one thing. But they're not. They're more expensive. They're more expensive than other machines in their class. It's a terrible, terrible value proposition, and I don't understand how they could not change any of that and continue to expect to make money.
This vaguely reminds me of is Full Spectrum.
I get where you bought a brick.
Well, I think the key difference is, allegedly, that there are some differences there in how they're using their cloud interface.
From a very far zoomed out.
Yeah.
With your eyes squinted, it looks the same. It's someone who has remote control over the software required to run your machine. And that's just, that's a lot of things, right? That's like crickets too. There's a ton of companies that do that, whether it's like a back door, like in the case of I'm forgetting already. We were just talking about it.
Full spectrum?
FSL, yeah. If it's like a back door type situation like FSL, or a front door situation like the Glowforge, whether or not that's relevant, I guess, depends on the argument that you're trying to make. But either way, if you buy a piece of why do we love like the OhmTech lasers so much? It's like, again, and we harp on this so much on the show, but you can buy every single piece of that machine individually from dozens of different sellers. You know, and there's nobody that's going to kick in your door and say, nope, you didn't write your check this month. You don't get to use that anymore. You own it, you know? And so, and that case can be made for the vast majority of the machines that we talk about on this channel and on this show. So, you know, when people look at this, like, I get that the presentation and the packaging targets a specific group of people, but this deal is so bad that you must be doing absolutely zero research before deciding to buy. Because if you had seen even one competing machine and the pros and cons of both, you would never choose to purchase this.
I think maybe in defense of them, kind of like a straw man argument, I guess, would be like, they came out in 2015, right? So like they were making home lasers before a lot of people, mostly everybody, was making lasers
for people. Ease of accessibility.
So, yeah, so they kind of had like their own Apple iOS or you know, Xtool kind of ecosystem and a very solid customer base before people having one laser at home was even a thing. And now you have people who have a handful of lasers at home, and the environment has really changed, and they didn't really adapt their business model to kind of cater to that, which is probably what ultimately put them in financial trouble. But I mean, I think they're kind of like the ones that got it started really for like at-home lasers. But
yeah, you're wrong.
Not in their defense, they didn't adapt like, you know, Xtool has done really well, where they're always innovating and coming up with new things, and their ecosystem is relevant.
Well, I feel like Xtool plays the same game where they're like, here's a laser, and oh, hey, we've got a massive library of materials that you can buy from us, right? But what they don't do is put a gun to my head and tell me I have to use Xtool Studio in order to use my machine. And I think there's a big difference there. You know what I mean? If I want to go buy my wood from Ukuch and run Lightburn, Xtool's not complaining. They're not harassing me about that or trying to like make those decisions for me. They've left the system open so that I can do with my hardware what I want to. And I feel like that's where this really goes south. Is that it's so walled garden and such a linear path for their consumers that it's just, I don't know, it's just so anti-consumer. I can't even it's like giving me a headache just thinking about it.
Well, I do like Billy Green. Billy Green in chat said that he Glowforge reminds him a lot of Bamboo, where it's like overpriced for convenience for basically something where you're using software and devices and etc., right, that aren't really in your control, and you do have to like run it through a service. They have rights. Like when you click user agreement, I understand these things. It basically says pretty much anything you make with our printer, we have the rights to the design, you know. And it's like, oh shit. So that's one of those things to definitely consider. And then I agree 100% with what Anthony said. I think that he's exactly right. The model that they came up with was badass for the time, but then not having an end in mind, you know, like, hey, this is where we started, but we're going to have the Grow Forge where we're going to grow and do something. I mean, it's right there, dude. You had the opportunity, but they just didn't. And so when everybody starts, and the other thing too, is this is an industry too, where a lot of people buy the machines and then they realize I need to do more. I need to do faster. I need to do, so they didn't have like a step up. They had the Glowforge Pro, but it was literally the same game, right? And so it's like they had an opportunity to build on that and say, hey, this is where it all started. Now let's look at some of the different machines that you can get and still have the same quality and this and that and the other. Kind of like Omtech did. Like Omtech started with stuff that was kind of like desktop lasers, and then they started getting big boys, you know? So
I'm really concerned about this because we don't have any of the consumer protections in place that stop them from just shutting the servers off
Yeah.
and breaking your device. Well, there's nothing. You have nothing.
Well, I would even go as far as to say it's probably covered under their terms of use and purchase policy
that they can do that.
Protects them that they can do that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and fuck you.
By the way, Greg Zeppelin just said Glowforge is like marriage. You pay for it your whole life of your life.
Yikes.
Buy once, cry forever.
Yeah, well, my takeaway from this conversation has been that I want to do some research into the custom firmware options available for Glowforge machines, because I did not know that that was an option, and that's pretty cool. And I'd like to know more about it so that we can assist with that, because I think that sounds right up our alley.
Yeah. So that was the original article that I was forwarded to. That made me aware of it. And then doing some searching, this was actually posted on their community forum, which I read through, which brought me to this Reddit post, which this person actually did a fantastic TLDR.
Let's see what's their name.
Odd84.
Odd84 on Reddit.
Yep. It's closer to the top if you sort it by best. It's a reply to somebody who was looking for clarification, and they do a fantastic job at, as far as I can tell, summarizing it. So if you want to read more about it, I would suggest checking it out there, and I'm sure somewhere across those three options you'll probably see some updates as things proceed, because this is actually a fairly recent change. It only happened in the last couple weeks, so something to look at.
Yeah. Crazy they're still selling the machines.
I mean,
yeah, well, that's the whole thing, is the way, because it's not a typical bankruptcy where like everything halts and people stop working. The ABC thing that they filed allows them to essentially operate per usual, because it's essentially a company auction, and it just so happened that the original people who started the company bid on it and won it.
Yeah, but so what's stopping them from just being like, well, that was fun, and then like liquidating everything they have left? What's stopping?
Nothing, because they're not beholden to anybody anymore.
What's stopping them from being like, hey, Glowforge blowout sale, 60% off, and everybody buys them until they liquidate all their stock, and then they shut the servers down and close up shop?
I mean, that would be horrible, and they'd probably get sued, but
they'd win because it's in their terms of service.
It is, but I also feel like they would lose a lot of chargebacks.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. With Chapter 11 doesn't mean that you're shutting down. I know we're talking about like the end game, like what if. Chapter 11 just means like, it literally means like you are restructuring, and the whole thing is in the shortest amount of time you should make the most amount of money to show that you can create gains and all kinds of stuff as well. So that's one of those things where they probably are trying to just sell, right? Because they can show profitability and that people still have interest in the idea.
If you guys want to sell more machines, fucking stop being so anti-consumer and open up your hardware.
Well, and that would be something that they could do, in my opinion, with the restructure thing, is they could just say, hey, look, this is where we started, but like we want to go a different direction. And that's where they could literally do a Kickstarter with the name brand that they still have. Because there's companies that's what Xtool did. They literally did a Kickstarter for their Ultra. And then they did the live, and everybody was going batshit crazy. Like Cuban, I remember Cuban literally was like, Matt, get online now. They're giving away free stuff. And it's like, and there was like, my God, tens of thousands of people just watching them do their kickoff for the Kickstarter and just dumping money into it. The Eufy Make did the same thing, right? Like they had their Kickstarter and did the same thing. I mean, there's lots of different new machines and
that's
companies.
All great. That just assumes that these guys are gonna fucking make the right choices and not.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, if it was me and I was the person in that setup, that's what I would do. I'd just be like, hey, listen, we don't have the money to start this, so let's just crowdsource it and go, because we have the name brand. People trust us still while we have that. Let's strike while the iron's hot and do something. And then that's what you could do, is make things that are Lightburn compatible, because there's 1,000 machines that you could white label and just be like, hey, we've made a new thing. and it's literally not anything new. But you just put a couple little doodads on it, and it's like, this is now the Glowforge Mega Ultra, like whatever. So, anyways, that's just ideas, like things to consider. I'll call them and see if I can get them to book with me. I charge them $50. Like, hey, $50 for half an hour. I got you covered.
Well,
honestly, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. Anyways.
Funny Washer saying not sure the Glowforge consumer can handle light burn, and maybe it's true, but it even let's assume that it is true. I'm also assuming that a large number of Xtool Studio users can't handle light burn, and they have Xtool Studio, but they get to pick that. That's their choice.
And the other side of that too is you can use Xtool offline, even though some of their features require cloud use, like the repeat marking on a conveyor crap that they have, which is pretty cool, but you can't run that offline.
Also, I think that we're thinking of light burn use like, was it 5 or 6 years ago, where it was like a new concept and there was no way to find like YouTube University in 100 different places to help you learn how to do this. A lot of people, even if they've got a Cricut, like a lot of these people start with Cricuts, and a lot of the functionality and measurements and tools and skills of like design work and using Canva and using Inkscape and using all those different things, I think that it goes a lot farther nowadays with the way Lightburn is set up to kind of understanding the basics. And for what they're trying to do, I don't know. I think it's not appropriate to say a lot of them couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that they really could. But it's just the fact that if they haven't had the opportunity to do it, why would they? You know what I mean? Like, if they've been stuck in the Glowforge dome, why? So that, I don't know.
There's a lot of similarities from novice to expert along this line. And at the end of the day, a lot of it, even Galvo scanning at the far end of the expert end, is really just like XY coordinate editing, right? It's not, I don't think there's anything like not particularly novel. There are quirks, to working with different hardware setups, but once you learn those quirks, the basis of what you're doing is relatively unchanged. So I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
And Yuri said, I wonder if Lightburn could benefit from a beginner mode that simplifies the UI. They actually have
a beginner mode.
It's so bad.
It really doesn't cut away a lot of this
stuff.
No, it cuts away everything. Shut up. You're wrong. That's awful. Bad opinion.
It doesn't
cut away. I didn't say it was good. I just said it cuts away a lot of stuff.
Did I tell you guys the story about how Rhiannon and I thought the fiber laser was fucking broken for like 3 weeks? No, and it wasn't. It was just on. Oh, dude, we thought it was broken. I was freaking out because I couldn't do like cross hatching. I couldn't set like my scan angle, like really, really basic stuff was just missing. I was like, I'm gonna have to roll back. Like, I didn't know what was wrong. I thought it was having like crazy glitches. I didn't know if it was the laser or light burn. I was like diagnosing things with a multimeter. I ripped the fiber apart. And at the end of it all, I just found out that light burn was in fucking basic mode. And I was like irate. Don't ever turn on basic mode. Check Lightburn right now. Stop listening to the show and go make sure it's not in basic mode, and then come back.
Across the top of like the bar where it's got all the different options, like 8 of those just disappear. And
it's not just that.
Yeah,
Kyle's over here. Oh, it doesn't change that much.
You didn't let me finish. It doesn't change that much in terms of functionality for the basic user. They would never know the difference. The problem is we know the difference, and we also understand the value that those features that go bye-bye bring to the table.
But that's because we have like 50 years of collective laser experience.
At this point, I mean... So, anyways, looking at this from another perspective, I think that a lot of people may not even buy into it because of the ecosystem aspect. They probably buy into it because of, I guess it is ecosystem, but it's more about consistency. So when you have somebody who's providing certified material that's going to work consistently every time, they provide the settings that are supposed to work the same way every time. on their machine and they validate it and it comes with a QR code and all you have to do is stick it in the machine and it scans it and you're done and you just tell it what to cut out. That's where a lot of people are stuck on the concept of calling these laser printers, which is like functionally a completely different thing. We don't use toner and we're not printing, but yeah.
But it's the size of a printer and it sits on my desk, Kyle. I don't
understand. Goes like this.
Yeah, it does go left to right. My laser printer does do that. I don't understand.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's my thinking is I feel like a lot of people buy into the ecosystem because of they don't want to stress about sourcing material or variability or friggin' testing stuff. And I think that would probably be one of the bigger disconnects for a lot of those people switching to Lightburn, which could honestly be easily overcome because the test material feature in Lightburn is so otherworldly easy to use compared to what we had 5, 8, 10 years ago in this industry that
3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean it's just insane. So
back in the olden times of 2022 when you used to have to test materials on, like I remember going on to Etsy and I typed in like laser something, like I just typed in the word laser and it was like and it was like laser testing grid files and I was like, oh shit, let me look at that because I literally was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, because it could take hours to set up a good one.
Oh my
god, have to set all the pins and it was just ugh.
We could talk about this for a long time, I think, but
we
have 10 minutes left. We're definitely going over tonight, and we do have quite a few questions in chat. In chat. I've been starring them like a madman, so let's
go
roll through. Kyle, bring us to question time, and let's do like a medium lightning round on these where appropriate.
What the fuck is a medium lightning?
It's when you kind of go fast, but not really.
What? Laser engravers are listed on all the time on Marketplace as laser printers. Yeah. That's when people don't understand the learning curve and they bought something like a Glowforge first and then bought a real laser and don't want to figure it out.
All I wanted to do was make copies.
Veronica says, I want to get into laser engraving and actually just got a new X tool still in the box. The programs are what confuse me. I don't even know how to begin with settings, etc. I'm not tech savvy.
Ooh,
that's okay.
On the YouTube channel.
You got two options, Veronica. You can use XCS, which is now X Tool Studio, which is fine. It's fine. It's a decent place to just start fiddling around if you want to just kind of knick-knack with it. But if you want to actually produce things with this machine, we always recommend Lightburn. Right now, you have two major options as far as laser everything goes to educate yourself on this. You've got the Lightburn for Galvo and Gantry crash courses, which you can find on our YouTube channel, completely free. Doesn't cost any money. It'll teach you everything you need to know about Lightburn, how to use it, what features it has, why you would want to use them, when you wouldn't want to use them. We cover all of that. That's the first option. That's the Lightburn for either Galvo or Gantry crash course. Depending on the X tool you have, some or both of those series may be relevant to you. The other option you have is to go to the YouTube channel and click on the Ultimate Laser Processing Guide, which is the new 2025 replacement for those two series that will be a little bit more up to date and a little more well-rounded and include things outside of Lightburn that are important to know. If you start watching that series now, you'll be able to follow along with new episodes as they come out. And we're going to cover everything top to bottom, inside and outside of software. Lightburn isn't that as expensive. It's not a subscription. It's a one-time buy, and then you own it forever, which is great. And if I were you, I would highly recommend taking a look at Lightburn out of the box. I think that in the end, you'll be glad that you did. But those are your first, that's kind of your first step. And those are your two initial options are X-Tool Studio or Lightburn. And again, X-Tool Studio is fine. It's passable. And if you just want to play with it a little bit and kind of get used to your machine, that might be a good place to start. Otherwise, check out Lightburn. I think you won't regret it.
I would also add that anything you do learn in the process of getting used to the machine, even if you switch software or even lasers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be able to transfer a lot of that knowledge to whatever platform and software package you end up using for the most part.
The vast majority.
Yeah, things like getting used to line interval, power, speed, what changes what in terms of result, etc. A lot of that stuff is transferable. So once you get used to it and learn it to some degree, and the patterns that you achieve through testing and learning it, you can take that with you to other lasers for the most part.
Billy
By
Green.
The way, Jack said, don't forget to push the Discord server because that's a great resource. Anthony is on there all the time. Kyle is on there all the time. I've been on there less recently. Anthony beat me. But the whole thing is there's a ton of different things you can find out there.
There's a lot of people on there.
Yeah, especially when you get your machine out of the box and start playing with it. There's places where you can say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Here's what's happening. And here's what it looks like. Help me. So there's tons of different ways and tools. Definitely take a look over there. And if you're not sure how to do it, take a look underneath at the bottom of the video when it's
the description.
Yep, that's called a scription.
Upside
and when you
down.
look at the scription, you'll see the link, and that'll be good for you to join.
Billy Green said not a subscription with an asterisk. LOL. And you do have to pay to renew the license, but you don't have to. You don't have to. And I think the difference is when you stop paying for Lightburn, it doesn't stop working.
Right. I literally I haven't paid for mine in like 3 months because I haven't really seen the need to get the next version yet for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm good for right now. I plan on getting it soon because like there are a couple of things that I want coming up in some of the patches, but like there's no incentive for me to run and get it right now. But without it, my machines would be bricks.
Right. If I stop paying the Adobe subscription for Photoshop goes away, right? And I can no longer use it to produce value. If I stop paying for Lightburn, which is like $30 a year, first of all, just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
If I stop paying that, Lightburn keeps working. I keep using my machines as normal.
I had a $2,000 order that I did this weekend with the Lightburn that I have.
Yeah, I know people that are still on 1.5 and they're perfectly content. So there's no consequences for not continuing to pay for license renewals other than not getting new updates, which is fine for a lot of people.
Yep.
So
you get access to any updates that come out while your license is covered, and then you just have to renew if you want updates after that.
Billy says he was just poking fun.
Oh yeah,
I totally get that.
Yeah.
It's good information, and it's an important line to draw, I think, for people who don't know. And we also like Lightburn, but guess what? They don't sponsor us. We've never gotten a penny from Lightburn. We actually all just genuinely like it over for dozens of terrible competing software suites.
Yeah, for the money that you pay, it is an incredible tool. All right, we got it. This is like extremely slow lightning, by the way.
Has anyone started using Affinity now that it's free? Is there any benefits over using Inkscape? Alex messed with it before it was the cool new free thing on the block.
Yeah, that's true. I like Affinity. I don't know it as well as I know Inkscape now. When I was doing my kind of trio of tutorials for Illustrator, Affinity Designer, and Inkscape was the most difficult one to get through building the tutorial for, and Affinity would have been the easiest one had I not already known Illustrator. So it is really, really well developed and designed software. It's got a very friendly user interface. It's got a lot of neat tricks up its sleeve. I don't have any reason why you should use Affinity over Inkscape or vice versa. I know Inkscape, and I think a lot of people are going to be more passionate about Inkscape because it's been free for way longer. So there's probably a more active community and more people that are willing to help with that kind of stuff. Obviously, both of these shy in comparison to Adobe Illustrator, but clearly that is the much more expensive option of the three. So no, I don't, use both, try both, see which one you like best. Now that I know how to use Inkscape, years later, and I'm really good at it, I feel like I really like Inkscape. So it's kind of hard for me to answer objectively, but use what works for you, especially if they're both free. Is that it? Where'd Kyle go? Is Kyle dead?
Oh, sorry. Watcher says, Matt, you can embrace.
Yeah, I've already answered. Fuck no. Fuck no. Done.
Well, you don't like this again?
Laura says, has everyone smashed the like button? I would say probably not. So you guys should go do that. Captain, is the rule of 3 still on LMA? Thanks. I'm not sure what you mean.
I don't get it either. What's the rule of 3?
I don't know. If you could clarify, I'll come back.
User?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Let us know. No, we covered that one.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, everything I print with my P1S, they technically own? They don't own it, but it's if you send it.
But they have it.
They have it.
Yeah.
So, for example, just so you know what that means, for example, I have a friend of mine who works for he works in the government, like he works for the military, and they have 3D printers for when they're trying to work on stuff with drones. So they print parts, right? They are not allowed to use bamboo to print them specifically because anything that you process through their servers it's kind of like putting it out into, like, they have access to it, they see it.
It's being sent to a foreign country and then
right. Right. So in certain instances, now for people like me who I'm printing 3D printed brass knuckle type things, nobody gives a crap. But if you were doing anything that, like, for example, is proprietary, or you were trying to create something that you don't have rights to yet because you haven't gotten a patent. Yep. Like if you haven't gotten a working patent yet, then they basically could say, this looks interesting, and they could either sell it to investors, all kinds of things. So yeah, that's the thing where it becomes an issue. And when you sign the user agreement, basically it says, hey, like, we have access to this, we know that what you're working on. And
I haven't done this because I don't own a bamboo printer, but like, read the privacy policy in terms of
basically that's it.
Yeah. If you ever get a contract with, like, pretty much any government entity, you're part of the paperwork you sign usually has something to do with privacy stuff like that, and you need to read into that stuff very carefully. Anything that you touch as part of those contracts has to be adhered to the T, because if you don't, it's not just being, like, fined and losing a contract. You could actually end up going to jail. So yeah. Chris says, who else is working on last minute Christmas market stuff? I just wired LED strip lighting onto 6 metal folding shelves, getting ready for 4 weekends of Christmas markets starting Thursday.
Nice.
Heck yeah. I mean, this is the time of year. The next month essentially is it. It's go time for you guys. I'm not doing Christmas market stuff.
I mean, I've got the ornaments, but I've talked at length about that already. So,
I have something that I'm making for a shop that's downtown. But as far as, like, I was going to say, one of the things you should consider is, if you're doing this kind of stuff, make sure you pick a day before it's too late to tell people I'm not making anything after this day, and then broadcast it, like, make it known, so that if people do want something, because there's a lot of people who sit on the fence and they're like, well, maybe I just need that one more, like, $25 gift, maybe, yeah, and they reach out to you literally like 2 days before Christmas when your in-laws are in town, or people are trying to, like, schedule stuff, and then they wonder, oh, well, why can't you make something for me? So make sure you have a cutoff that keeps your sanity and keeps you in the season with your family and friends.
God, I'm getting deja vu. I feel like we go through this with you specifically every year.
but it's important because like that's literally what happens. It's all the stinking people
Set
who like
boundaries.
And it's usually the teachers who finally have like 2 weeks and they have like 3 days before Christmas and they're like, hey, Matt, real quick. I'm just like, ugh. So anyway, and that's where the nice thing, like Alex said, is if you have stuff bought already and it's in stock, then it might not be a big deal for you to whip up something real fast, but it should be something that's doable, quick and easy. Or the other thing is charge for it, right? Like if you say, hey man, this is a rush order, I can do it, but it's going to cost you like an extra $10. And a lot of times people will be like, no problem. A lot of times people will say, never mind. That either way, it's a win. So just saying.
Yeah.
True that. Cuban says, by the way, working with a university is the biggest pain in the butt. Would not recommend unless you have connections within the university.
There's a lot.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Like when it comes to that kind of stuff, a lot of the time you have to buy licensing to do stuff for a university, or you have to have like a licensing agreement where you're hitting like minimum quantities and paying them a certain amount. Or it's just the length of time that you have rights to it and you have to hit quality standards for them, etc. And other times, like the other issue is when it comes to like carrying insurance policies on your product. Like if your product injures somebody or whatever, like they don't want to be held liable. They want it to go back on the person who made it. So, and actually Matt's talked about that when it comes to doing work with high schools and municipalities. Yeah. So, very good point. Ed says, ITAR violations, my beloved. Yeah. If you want to learn more about government stuff and 3D printing and like data security, go look up ITAR and you will see all the things. It's super important if you're doing stuff for the government or you're concerned about your data integrity for your business. I was looking for power speed conversion chart. You might have a 50 watt, but I have a 30 that would have suggestions to help dial in a project. Yeah, yes.
They answered that.
If you need fiber help, so with the fiber lasers, if you open up the parameter library download, it will be organized by software type, then by wattage, and then you can select which lens size you have. We do have 30 and 50 watt both covered there. So if you need 30, you're good. For CO2, if you have a 30 watt, that might be, I don't remember if that's converted, but if it's not, there's a PDF chart or an Excel file that you can plug your wattage into, and it'll convert for you. You could also use the parameter library converter from Shark, which is also bundled into the download for both, if I'm not mistaken. And that will...
It is. And you can get it independently at makearmy.io in the download section.
Yep. You just import the library, tell it what it's starting with, tell it what you want it to export with, and it'll convert it for you. And I think we're up to date.
Yeah, I just saw one that I just answered in chat, but Veronica was asking if we had any professional opinions on the new X-Tool UV laser, to which I responded, it's their first UV laser. I might not roll the dice on that because it could have issues and they haven't produced one before. We picked the Com Marker Omni 1 in our top 10 list for lasers for 2025 as our UV laser pick. It's $1,000 cheaper than what they're asking for the F2 Ultra UV. So it would be good to look at if you're curious about UVs. And we have a ton of positive community feedback about the Omni 1, which just backs that up. So I might check that out. I dropped a link in chat if you're interested. You look like you want to say something, Anthony. What's wrong?
The F2 Ultra UV might be more comparable to the Omni 1X.
Oh, the Omni 1X.
Oh, because of 3D functionality.
Because I don't know a lot about the F2 Ultra UV, but I would imagine it's going to have the 3D functionality.
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
if you're just looking for a UV laser, you don't need that anyway.
Right.
So I guess it depends on what you're looking for. If you feel like you absolutely need to do 3D crystal engravings for some reason, then sure, yes.
Yeah.
But if you're just talking about UV lasers, OmniOne's gonna take good care of you.
Which one did Bronson get?
The X, yeah.
That's what I thought. Bronson, by the way, he's done those things that you're talking about there, Alex, and it came out looking sick.
Yeah.
Now they have the XE coming out, I guess. The Omni XE.
I can't keep track of it.
So is it like a larger E, like maybe like extended, like a larger field?
E for her pleasure.
E for
everyone.
E for ecstasy.
Anyways,
E for exit.
That's the Amazon link.
E for anyways. That's the end of the show. Thank you guys so. Thank you guys.
We were doing so well.
No, we weren't.
I know that's fair.
Did you hear me? Did you listen? Did you listen to the beginning of this?
Never. Show? I literally never even watched this.
Veronica's a mortician. That's all the more reason to just leave right now before this gets.
Nice.
I know. I feel like I'm going to be haunted just for having this conversation.
What is she engraving?
3D crystals for families.
Oh,
honestly, that's a nice use case.
It's a good use case.
Mashes in it.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I don't know. Just let it come out, Veronica, and let reviews come in and watch some trustworthy ones, not the ones that are just overview ads.
My 2 cents, I would say, I believe Bronson is using Lightburn to run the Omni 1X and do the 3D functionalities. So
it's already there.
I can guarantee you the X tool is going to be XCS.
Veronica should join the Discord server.
Or join the LMA.
Or the LMA if you want to support the channel. There's a link to both of those things down in the description.
Or head over to makearmy.net.
IO.
.io.com. .biz.
It's IO.
4.
It's IO. There's no slash.
Oh, my bad.
All right. You guys have completely butchered my outro today. This is just, this is the worst. Thank you. No, you're not. Thank you guys so much for being here with us today, especially if you came through live. We always appreciate having you guys here, having you guys drop in with your comments, your questions, suggestions, all those kinds of things. It keeps the show lively and entertaining, and I wouldn't change it. Except I am for season 5, like we talked about in the beginning of the show.
You literally started off the show with hey guys, this is shit. I'm gonna change it.
Oh wait, there's more.
Someday you guys will all realize that I make all of this up as I go, and none of it is real because nothing's real. And we'll all be dead soon. We'll all be on. We'll all be on Veronica's table.
Welcome to the Matrix.
Just end the show, dude.
I can't end it until
guys, thanks so much for showing up tonight. We appreciate you.
I already said that.
Keep going with it.
This show sucks.